Turn the video on. Okay, good afternoon. This is the Board of County Commissioners meeting. It is Tuesday, June 6, 2023. It is 2:03 p.m. I'm Carolina Mejia. I'm the chair of the board. To my right is Vice Chair Ty Menser. To my left is Commissioner Gary Edwards. Also in the boardroom, we have County Manager Ramiro Chavez, as well as Assistant County Manager Rob Gilder and Clerk of the Board Jamie Caldwell. We'll start our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance to be led by Vice Chair Menser.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Next, Vice Chair Menser, would you like to do a land acknowledgement, sir?
Thank you, Madam Chair. We would also like to start today with the land acknowledgement. We would like to acknowledge and thank the Indigenous Salish peoples whose elders and ancestors have lived on and cared for the land and waterways of this county since time immemorial, specifically the Squaxin Island, Nisqually, and Chehalis people, our sovereign tribal partners. Truth and acknowledgement are critical to building mutual respect and connection across all barriers of heritage and difference. The purpose of this acknowledgement is to disrupt ongoing erasure of injustices done and to remember history as a stepping stone towards healing.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion to approve the agenda for Tuesday, June 6, 2023? And there is going to be a change. We'll be doing the opportunity for the public to address the board first, and then we will be doing the presentation.
I move to approve the proposed agenda for Tuesday, June 6, 2023, with the proposed amendment proposed by the chair.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menser?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. The agenda is approved. So we'll start off with the opportunity for the public to address the board. The Board of Thurston County Commissioners welcomes comments from the public. However, there are some guidelines governing such comments to ensure that they are appropriate and do not take advantage of the fact that most meetings are televised. The general speaking guidelines are as follows. Please introduce yourself, including the address you reside in the county. Please address the board, not the audience or staff. Please silence your cell phones for those members in the boardroom. Speakers are limited to a total of 4 minutes to address the board. The board does not respond to public comments on a need basis. The county manager will follow up on specific items. Meeting attendees cannot donate their speaking time to another person. No comments that are lewd and offensive, inflammatory, hateful, defamatory, or discriminatory in nature. Please be respectful. No outbursts of any kind. No comments that are commercial in nature, such as promotion of a for-profit business. And all materials provided to the county may be considered public records, subject to public release upon request pursuant to the Public Records Act, Chapter 4256 of the RCW. No remarks about pending land use permits or similar matters that could eventually come before the Board on Appeal. Thank you for your cooperation. So with that, we'll start off on the list. Even if you have marked no, I will still call your name and see if you have changed your mind. And then after we go through the list here, I'll see if anyone else in the boardroom would like to provide public testimony, and then we will move on to the Zoom. With that, we'll start off. Frank Hicks.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I'm here in response that I represent a member of the Tenino Honor Roll Wall Committee. In 2020, in February, the previous county commissioner met with our group and the mayor in Tenino to discuss putting the honor roll plaque on the rails of trails in the city park. After that meeting, he determined that the issues between the city and our group was not sufficient enough to not allow us to do that. So that county commissioner met with us. We picked the site by the museum that would be appropriate. At that time, he then went forward and had the county do surveying for the site, and then also had the parks person come about and start doing paperwork to allow us to do that site. At that time, that particular park manager retired, and then a new park manager took over, and we were informed that we had to wait and get new paperwork to proceed. And he said it would take up to a year for that paperwork to be done. Right now, it's been 2 years and we have not heard anything back from that paperwork. And we were also concerned that there are other sites there that we want to put ours that are on the rail to trail right away, and whatever paperwork they have would be sufficient to cover what we are. The museum is on the right of way. The Tickner School is on the right of way, and the Red Caboose is on the right of way. So we do not know why we do not have permission to go ahead and proceed to do our honor roll plaque, which is a plaque that was built to honor the veterans of Tenino who served in the services. So we request that we get permission to go ahead and proceed with that project. Thank you.
Could I clarify something, ma'am?
Go ahead, sir.
Frank, are you here representing the VFW from Tenino, right?
No, I am a member of the committee. I am a member of the VFW. I'm a member of the American Legion, and I'm also a member of the museum, who are all part of this board. There are 4 members in the board, 4 groups. So,
Thank you, sir.
Next is Trudy Burnham.
I also am representing the Veterans Honor Wall, which I've been working on for 8 years, and hopefully we can get somewhere. In the spring of 1943, a list of those men and women from the Tenino School District serving in the military was started. By April 16, 1943, the front page of the paper displayed the area's roll of honor, listing the names that had so far been collected. The spring of 1944 saw the first mention of what would be called the Memorial Tablet. Work was started by the American Legion and the Service Club on the Memorial Tablet with materials donated from the Mutual Lumber Company and Washington Veneer Company. On September 23, 1944, the honor roll tablet was erected with 245 names. In 1962, with honor roll tablet in disrepair, it was taken down with intent to recreate. A request went out for donations to do the work. The request must not have worked because the honor roll tablet was not recreated. In the spring of 2015, the Tenino VFW, the Auxiliary, and the American Legion went before the mayor and city council to get permission to place the honor roll tablet in the city park after our efforts to locate it at other sites in Tenino failed. From the spring of 2015 to the summer of 2018, the VFW Auxiliary and American Legion worked with the city on this project. When the final design for the project came out, the honor roll tablet was not included in it. We then approached the city about an alternative site and was informed by the mayor that there is no other place in the city park that we are willing to entertain for the subject. With no place to put the memorial, we had to stop our plans. We were then contacted by the South Thurston County Historical Society that the flag pavilion by the museum was available. We have since made several attempts to get on the city agenda as an action item at one of their meetings. The proposed new honor roll tablet would be about 6 feet high, 4 feet wide, and 10 feet long. It would be made from sandstone with the names of servicemen and women carved in granite slabs. The money for this project would come from donations and have no cost to the city. The names of the veterans on the tablet would cover from 1913 to 2012, which is the first 100 years of the Tenino High School. Also, the Tenino Quarry Pool was dedicated as the memorial pool in June of 1946, and that is why we are trying to get the honor roll plaque near the same vicinity of the other veterans memorials. I also work with the cemetery, Forest Grove out there, and we put flags on the veterans plots out there. And this year we had 409 veterans at our Forest Grove Cemetery. Thank you.
Thank you. And Phyllis Ackerman? I know you marked no, but just want to give you the opportunity. Okay, go ahead.
Do you still want me up there?
No, if you want to provide public, okay. It's only if you want to. Okay. Okay, next is Barry Halverson.
Madam Chair, Commissioners, my name is Barry Halverson, Yelm, Washington, Lake Lawrence. I'm here today to speak on behalf of all LMDs in the county to speak about the Lake Management District admin rules proposed by your staff. These rules were developed and published unilaterally by staff with no input from Lake Management Districts and were based on false and misleading information provided to you that LMDs somehow put the county at risk. Nothing could be further from the truth. No jurisdiction in the state has done this. I repeat, none. You have received dozens of emails and letters from concerned LMD members about these rules. Every HOA on Lake Lawrence wrote a letter letting you know the community does not support these rules. After LMDs pushed back, you directed staff to work with LMDs. There was one meeting on the subject in December 2022. Staff did not provide any response to several LMD requests on the changes staff would make to these rules following that meeting. When we saw the AIS brief this morning, we saw no substantive changes to the admin rules except some minor wordsmithing changes. Without the changes recommended by the LMDs, these admin rules will be the death of LMDs in Thurston County. LMDs provide the funds over and above regular property taxes to fund lake improvement and water quality initiatives. Any water quality initiatives will not happen if the LMDs do not renew when these rules become effective. This is a huge obstacle to renewing LMDs. You will be essentially setting water quality on at least 2 to 4 of the largest lakes in this county back decades, maybe more. LMDs are not going to form SUDs for the reasons we have already expressed to you. SUDs, as you know, come with their own considerable issues, many of which you have had to deal with and are still dealing with. Other lakes throughout the county will not form LMDs because of these rules. Citizens will take action on their own to remedy water quality in front of their own properties. Many that don't have LMDs already are, and you know that. You have heard from many lake constituents and environmental groups that are concerned about what non-LMD lake citizens are dumping into their waters. That situation will only get worse if LMDs are not supported. The future of water quality in Thurston County rests with you and a decision you will make tomorrow. The rules are a slap in the face to every LMD volunteer that spends hundreds of hours at personal expense to make our lakes better. Your LMDs are out there working every day to improve, organize, and participate in wildlife, water conservation projects, and improve water quality for all citizens. You need to help us do that, not impose unrealistic, punitive rules developed by staff based on false and misleading information. If you want the support of the lake management districts to improve water quality, adopt the rules the LMDs collaborated on. The rules that staff, not the rules that staff unilaterally developed. I thank you for your attention, and I thank you for your support of lake management districts in a lot of different areas coming up to this point. And tomorrow we'll make a decision point for the lake management districts in this county. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next is Terry Ballard.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name's Terry Ballard. I'm a 35-year veteran, retired with 29 years of active duty in unincorporated Thurston County called Tanglewood. As you just heard, I'm just writing notes from him. Lake Management Districts, that is a group of people that stood up in the community to manage their lake. Now, who owns the lake? Well, let's see. The state owns the lake. And guess what goes into the lake? Stormwater, noxious weeds. Don't we pay for those programs? Oh, I know. The county
illegally gifted back to those residents that are in lake management districts their stormwater. Well, stormwater is not your utility. Stormwater is a utility owned by a Department of Ecology, and you are permitted to run stormwater in your municipality, and that would be unincorporated Thurston County. Where's the health department for the stormwater going into this lake? Where is the health department? Well, they're absent. Do you know that over 12 million gallons daily goes into Bud Inlet from the sewage plant that Lot owns because they cannot get rid of all of the contaminants in the water that goes into that they dump into Bud Inlet? Oh, let's talk about the abundance of stormwater on the illicit combination stormwater and sewer system that they have set up in Olympia. Let's see, when it rains too hard, what are we going to do with the leftover biosludge that we can't get rid of? Okay, well, we'll just dump it. Is that a health issue? Yes, it is. Okay, yes, it is. You don't use biosludge as a fertilizer because that puts a lot of stuff that we don't want into our food system. Guess what they did with the biosludge? It was deeper to dump it out in Yelm than to actually put it on a truck and take it to Oregon to get it burned. You know, that's pretty sorry. When we don't worry about the environment, we just worry about how much profit we can make off the environment. Today, a month ago, I did a little research. Did you know that there's eight violent sex offenders living on Martin Way? Okay, violent sex offenders. Let's get rid of the ones in Tenino, but let's not worry about the ones in Tanglewild, within feet from the Debbie Dance Studio, within a mile from the park that kids play in. With a pool. Let's not worry about the two schools that are within 2 miles. Okay, let's just worry about getting rid of the Tenino Supreme Living, and we don't care if it's next door to one who manages his property, who is on the Lacey City Council. Okay, I'm tired of this. We have 66 non-compliant sex offenders, meaning they don't exist, they don't check in, they don't do anything, but they're non-compliant. We have 58 transits. Okay, God knows where these sex offenders are ending up, and out of both of them, we have 124 sex offenders that we don't know where they are, and we don't know if they're compliant or not, and they're not. I'm getting tired of this, especially when I live within a mile of the school, within a mile from the park, and I'm handling a community that is unappreciated, because they live in unincorporated Thurston County. If they were in Lacey, they'd be handled by Lacey. If they'd be in Olympia, they'd be handled by Olympia. But they're not. They're in unincorporated Thurston County, and I call myself a bastard of Thurston County because I don't count, and you three have districts. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, is there anyone else in the boardroom? Okay, we'll move on to Zoom.
Yeah, I believe the only person that I have waiting in Zoom is Mr. Gary Woodley.
We have no comments today.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir.
And I think I just see somebody join us with my name on the label. I think that will conclude public testimony, Madam Chair.
Okay. With that, we'll move on to our presentation scheduled for today, and that is LGBTQ+ Pride Month. Yes.
A couple of members from a local organization, Flag, Luke and Larry.
Can you hear me? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, members of the board, thank you so much for having us here today. I'm Lucas Miller. I'm a member of the board of Flag Olympia, and I'm here to say thank you for declaring June 2023 LGBTQ+ Pride Month. Our organization, PFLAG, provides support, education, and advocacy for LGBTQ+ people, their friends, families, and allies. As I'm sure you know, Olympia Pride is going to be held July 1st of this year. There will be a march in downtown Olympia and a festival down at the Port Plaza. We hope to see everybody there. This is a particularly important year for Pride and for LGBTQ folks. As I'm sure probably a lot of you are aware, upwards of 400 bills have been introduced in state legislatures across the country, especially targeting the transgender community, trying to deny transgender people everything from healthcare to bathroom access. So this year, it is more important than ever that bodies such as this stand up in support of our transgender friends and neighbors and speak on behalf of our community. So again, thank you very much for this presentation. And this is my colleague, Larry Cronquist.
Yeah, well said, Luke. PFLAG Olympia is one of the oldest gay rights organizations in the area here, and the national organization goes back about 50 years. So we proudly support the gay community. We do provide parent support, but we do a lot of other things that are designed to promote the health and well-being of the entire LGBTQ+ community. And I'd just like to say I'm glad I live in an area where we do say gay, and we don't try to criminalize doctors who are providing gender-affirming care to trans youth. Thanks a lot.
I'll just also quickly mention that I hear the city of Yelm is holding its first ever Pride celebration on June 10th. So hopefully we'll see a lot of you there. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, pass it on to the board.
No, I'm prepared for a
Proclamation. Okay, very good. I want to thank you guys for being here, and I'll be out of town on July 1st, but I encourage everyone to go. It was so great last year. It was just such an outpouring of, is it going to be at Port Plaza again, did you say?
Yes.
Okay, and I was really excited to see what's happening in Yelm, and I'm hoping I can make an appearance down there this weekend, the 10th.
I think it's this Saturday, June 10th.
Okay, very good. Madam Chair?
Yes, no, thank you for being here today and for all the advocacy that you both do in the community. And I do agree with you. It's great to live in a community that is accepting as Thurston County. I'm ready for a proclamation, sir.
Okay, Thurston County Proclamation, LGBTQ+ Pride Month, Peace, Love, and Revolution. Whereas equality of opportunity and freedom from discrimination are among basic, inalienable moral rights of every person. And whereas our nation was founded upon principles that every person has been created equal, that each has rights to their life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, and that each shall be accorded the full recognition and protection of law. And whereas the month of June is designated as Pride Month to commemorate the Stonewall riots in June of 1969, which are generally recognized as the catalyst for the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer rights movement. And whereas Thurston County is strengthened by and thrives upon the rich diversity of ethnic, cultural, racial, gender, and sexual identities of its residents, all of which contribute to the vibrant character of our county. And whereas the aim of theme, Peace, Love, and Revolution for 2023 LGBTQ+ Pride Month is to recognize the efforts of the individuals that have fought for the human rights of the LGBTQ+ community and inspired others to fight for human rights for years to come. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Board of Thurston County Commissioners hereby proclaims June 2023 as LGBTQ+ Pride Month in Thurston County and encourages all residents to recognize the contributions made by members of the community, LGBTQ community, and to actively promote the principles of equality, liberty, and justice adopted this 6th day of June, 2023 by the Board of County Commissioners.
So Anna's gonna go first, and then we'll go over to me. 3, 2, 1. Thank you. Just one? Wow. It was a great photo. All right, guys. 1, 2, 3. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Thomas. I think it takes one picture.
Thanks, Jeremy.
One good picture.
Hey, thank you.
Great. We're gonna take off.
Okay.
Yeah.
That will conclude our presentation for today. We'll move on with county manager's update.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. This is that time of the year. And as a matter of background, back in June 27, 2016, the Board of County Commissioners passed an ordinance number 15308. And this particular ordinance implemented a county code that addresses the emergency ban on discharge of consumer fireworks. This particular code states the county manager, after consulting with the fire marshal and other officials, as may be deemed appropriate, may prohibit the discharge of consumer fireworks during periods of extreme fire danger. This prohibition shall take effect 1 day prior to the date consumer fireworks may be legally sold under Chapter RCW 7077 RCW, the RCW, thank you. RCW 7077, Item 1 states, it is legal to sell the purchase of consumer fireworks within the state from 12 o'clock noon to 11 o'clock p.m. on the 28th of June from 9 o'clock a.m. to 11 o'clock p.m. and one on each day from the 29th through the July 4th at noon, at midnight. So that put us in the position to make a decision by June 27th of this year, whether a ban on the discharge of consumer fireworks may be taken effect. At this point, I'm not in the position to provide any recommendations. I'm working with the fire marshal as well as emergency services in all the fire districts. We are monitoring the weather conditions. As you know, we are experiencing drier than normal conditions, and that put us in the position to take a closer look as to what we need to do. I will be prepared to bring a matter of this matter on a recommendation on June 20th, and that will be your last board meeting before your summer recess. And at that point, we'll, if the intent is to implement a ban on the discharge of consumer fireworks, we will make just about every single attempt to inform the public. But either way, I will be providing a recommendation on June 20, 2023. And I will keep you appraised as to the weather conditions as we evolve in the next 2 weeks. So I will bring next Tuesday my weather forecast, so I can be the weather forecast professional for Thurston County for 2 weeks. And then we'll see where it goes. Any questions?
Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
No, ma'am.
Questions, Commissioner Menzer? Okay, no questions for me. Thank you. More to come. Okay. Moving on to our consent agenda, there are 3 items. Would commissioners like to remove any of the items on the consent agenda?
No, ma'am.
No? Okay. I'm ready for a motion, sir, if you are.
I move to approve consent items 3A through 3C.
Second.
It's been moved and second. This is a non-debatable motion. I will call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. The consent agenda is approved. Moving on to department items, starting with Commissioner's Office, item 4A, the 2022 through 2023 Budget Amendment Number 3. And Nicole Martinez, our Budget and Fiscal Manager.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Nicole Martinez, Budget and Fiscal Manager. The item on the agenda is the third amendment of the 22-23 biannual budget. Amendment 3 is to account for revenues and expenditures which were not identified and not known at the time that the budget was adopted. Department and offices submitted requests for review by the board at 2 separate work sessions on April 27th and May 8th. The board made final decisions on May 8th. These decisions were posted in the Olympian on May 23rd and May 30th. The amendment includes an increase in expenditures for the general fund of $1,527,422 and other funds of an increase of $17,920,769. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
No questions, thank you.
Questions, Commissioner Menzer?
No.
Okay. No questions for me. This has been an item where we've had multiple briefings about that the public can access on our YouTube channel. Okay, hearing no questions, I am ready for a motion.
I move to approve the resolution to adopt Budget Amendment Number 3, including attachments A, B, C, and D.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Moving on to item 4B is the TC Media Contract Amendment Extension. County Manager?
Yeah, I will take the place of Robin Campbell. This is the county manager. This particular proposal before you is to consider extending the current contract that we have with TC Media. And the board took an action early in the year to extend the contract that lapsed in December 31st, 2022 to extend it to June 30th, 2022. This item is for your consideration to extend the same contract, the same terms and conditions and funding through December 31st, 2023. The intent of this particular action for your consideration is to give us time to work with the rest of the jurisdictions in the county to see what will be the future partnership or not with TC Media. And that is the intent of this particular item. Any questions?
Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
No questions, thank you.
Questions, Commissioner Menzer?
No.
Okay, no questions for me. I'm ready for a motion if you are, sir.
I move to approve Amendment Number 2 with TC Media to extend the existing contract by 6 months to December 31st, 2023, and authorize the county manager to execute the agreement.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, so with that, we'll move on to Community Planning and Economic Development. Item 5A is to set a public hearing for Olympia Joint Plan update.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Leah Davis with Community Planning. I'm here to request a public hearing for the Olympia Joint Plan update. Thurston County and the City of Olympia first adopted a joint plan in 1994, with the last significant update in 2004. This proposed update will fully repeal and replace the 2004 plan. I'm going to give a brief history of the procedural work that's been done so far on the joint plan. 2 joint Planning Commission work sessions were held in October of 2022. A joint public hearing was held on November 30th. A post-hearing work session was held January 25th of 2023. A SEPA determination of non-significance was issued and became final on March 8th of 2023. The Olympia City Council provided a recommendation to the board on April 19th, 2023. And then last month, on May 17th, staff held a board briefing to discuss the Planning Commission and City Council recommendations. The changes in this proposal include updated formatting and updated background information such as population and land capacity. There is one citizen-initiated proposal as part of the joint plan update. and that includes two options. First, a land use change from planned development to professional office and multifamily housing with an associated zoning change from community-oriented shopping center to professional office residential multifamily, or two, a minor code amendment that removes the requirement for a grocery store in this development. Staff requests the board schedule a public hearing for July 25th, 2023 at 3:30 p.m. for the Olympia Joint Plan update. And as usual, staff will provide public notice through a legal ad in the Olympian, a press release, and an email to interested parties. Thank you.
Thank you, Leah. Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
Yes, the Planning Commission, what recommendation have they recommended?
The Thurston County Planning Commission recommended adopting the Olympia Joint Plan, a majority, and then they also recommended doing the minor code amendment over the rezone and the rezone of the land use.
And does that match with the City of Olympia's desires?
Yes, it does.
Thank
They
you.
also provided the same unanimous vote for those two options.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Questions, Commissioner Menzer? Okay, no questions for me.
Thank
I'm
you.
ready for a motion, sir.
I move to set a public hearing for Tuesday, July 25th, 2023 at 3:30 p.m. or soon thereafter as the matter may be heard at 3000 Pacific Avenue, room 110, to take public comment on the Olympia Joint Plan update.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Minzer? Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Going on to item 5B. It's to set a public hearing for the Terry Open Space Tax Program application, and Marissa Wisman, Associate Planner, will report on this matter. Go ahead, Marissa.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Commissioners and County Managers. Marissa Wisman with Community Planning. I'm here to request a public hearing for June 20th for the Terry Open Space application. This is an application for the county's open space tax program that the board oversees. The applicant, Terry James Jr., seeks to enroll 12.84 acres into the program as a significant wildlife habitat area. The Planning Commission has recommended approval of the application, and the board was briefed on this item on May 24. The Terry property meets the criteria for enrollment under the proposed resource category, as the property contains type F stream and wetland habitat known to support a critical areas ordinance important species. The wetland habitat covers the majority of the property, and supporting documents, including a habitat management plan created by a qualified biologist to assess the site, were submitted with the application materials. Commissioners, this concludes my discussion. Did you have any questions?
Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
No questions, thank you.
Questions, Commissioner Menzer? No questions for me. Thank you. Okay, ready for a motion, sir.
I move to set a public hearing for June 20th, 2023 at 3:30 p.m. or soon thereafter as the matter may be heard at 3000 Pacific Avenue Southeast, room 110, to accept public comment on the 2023 Terry open space application and waive the 20-day public notice requirement for public hearings pursuant to Resolution 10102.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Minzer?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Okay. Thank you. Okay, moving on to Public Health and Social Services, item 6A, an authorization to issue a request for proposals related to affordable housing and behavioral health facilities contracts. And I see Thomas Webster, our Senior Program Manager, will report on this item.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Tom Webster with Public Health and Social Services. So we're asking your approval today to issue a request for proposals in the amount of approximately of $5,525,401. This is combining 4 different fund sources that we have available in our county to support affordable housing, as well as behavioral health facilities for our home fund. So this includes money from the county home fund that was passed last year by this board, as well as the Olympia home fund. This is a local sales tax. The total amount of money we have available is $3,075,000. Our 1406 fund, which is a retention of a state sales tax, that is also combined with county, City of Lacey, Olympia, and Tumwater revenue for $900,000. The Federal Home Investment Partnership American Rescue Plan funding, which comes from the federal government in the amount of $1,450,401, and local 2060 funds, which is a document recording fee for $100,000. So we propose to issue this RFP on June 9th with applications due on July 19th. Applications will be reviewed by the Regional Housing Council's Affordable Housing Advisory Board with recommendations flowing through the Regional Housing Council before being presented to you. Approval or the Regional Housing Council has made a recommendation to move forward with these funds and is making that recommendation to you to issue this request for proposals. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
No questions.
Questions, Commissioner Menzer?
No.
No questions for me, Tom. I'm ready for a motion, sir.
I move to authorize Public Health and Social Services to issue a request for proposals to receive applications eligible for funding under the Local Home Fund, Home American Rescue Plan, SHB 2060, and SHB 1406 funds to be used for capital, affordable housing, and behavioral health facilities.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Moving on to item 6B is to approve the contract amendment number 2 with Washington State Department of Commerce for the Rights of Way Initiative. And handing it right back to you, Tom.
Great, thank you again, commissioners. So with this item, we're asking your approval to, so we can amend a contract with the Department of Commerce for the Governor's Right-of-Way Initiative. So we currently have a contract with the state to provide support for those living on the state's rights of way for approximately $10 million. This amendment would add an additional $2.1 million to that contract for a total contract value of $12,920,000. The bulk of this funding will be used to support the operations of the Low Income Housing Institute to operate an enhanced shelter at Maple Court, which is a recently purchased hotel in the Hawks Prairie area. So this will ensure that there's sufficient staffing, case management, and on-site support for those folks who are going to be at that facility. It also provides additional funding for outreach for future years. This contract runs through June 30th of 2025. And happy to answer any questions.
Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
No, but I might comment, though, that on several of these items, we've had numerous discussion periods on these, and I'd just like to inform the public that that's why we don't have any questions, is because staff did a good job explaining it to us beforehand. So no questions, thank you.
Thank you. Questions, Commissioner Menzer?
Tom, I don't think we got into it this morning, but what's the motivation for this additional money? Is it like extending the time period? Is it reevaluating the staffing needs? Is it adding something that wasn't funded previously? Like why are we getting this? Who decided that we needed more?
Yeah, so when we initially made the proposal, Lehigh submitted a budget of $2 million a year to operate the property. And as we got into deeper conversations about the needs, the case management needs that individuals will need, the on-site supports that were needed, it was determined that a higher level of staffing was needed. So this is really to accommodate a higher level of staffing after additional information as we got into the details of ensuring sufficient operations of the program.
So the same time period for the same project, but we're getting a higher level of case management service.
Correct.
Thank you. Okay, I don't have any questions. I'm ready for a motion, sir. If you are.
I move to approve Amendment 2 to the interagency contract SFY 23 46141003 with the Washington State Department of Commerce for the Rights of Way Initiative to add $2,100,000 in funding to bring the total contract value to $12,920,000 and authorize the Director of Public Health and Social Services to sign the amendment and any future amendments that do not change the amount by more than 10%.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for,
I
oh,
have one.
go ahead.
One question, Tom. It's probably worth noting in this context, this funding toward this project will then connect to the effort to remove folks from the rights of way along, say, I-5. I know it's not the only place, but there's the Sleater Canyon
Yes.
5 and
Yeah.
and a few others. That's the connection here, correct?
That is correct. Yes.
Okay, just wanted folks to hear that.
Thank you. Okay. No further discussion. I will call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Mensah?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Okay, moving on to item 6C, which is the 2023 Homelessness Services Contracts. And Keely Marino, our homeless and affordable housing coordinator, will report this item. Go ahead, Keely.
Thank you, Commissioners. Keely Marino with Public Health and Social Services. Today, we are hoping to have you approve housing contracts between the county and 9 nonprofit organizations for 12 separate projects for homeless services to a total estimated amount of $1,508,271 for the 2023 program year. Our office, the Office of Housing and Homeless Prevention, issued a consolidated request for proposals in February of this year, 2023. The sources of funding for the RFP are the Consolidated Homeless Grant, which is a state fund, Housing and Essential Needs, which is also a state fund, Human Services Fund, which is a local fund, and House Bill 2163, which is a document recording fee, and then Eviction Prevention Rent Assistance Funds, which are also a state document recording fee fund. However, due to the recent legislation, the Washington State Department of Commerce is making adjustments to the amount of funding that is actually available for our county to contract with homeless service providers due to document recording fee revenue shortfalls. So they have issued some gap funding. However, we don't have the total amount of all of the funding that we actually have to award. And so the awards that we're presenting to you, the recommendations, are of specific fund sources that are set asides, that we are assured we know exactly what we have to recommend in terms of funding awards. We do anticipate coming to you on the 20th of June for the remainder of the homeless services contracts. The Regional Housing Council Homeless Services Advisory Board has made these recommendations to the Regional Housing Council. And so these funds that we're going to be discussing today are the Human Services Fund, the Eviction Prevention Rent Assistance Program Fund, the EPRA, and a set aside of the 2163 funds for the Lived Experience Steering Committee. We received 15 applications for these funding sources, and the Homeless Services Advisory Board did review and score all the applications and made its recommendations to the full Regional Housing Council on both its May 10th and May 24th meetings. The Regional Housing Council did review the recommendations and has passed motions to forward these recommendations to the Board of County Commissioners for approval, which we hope to reach today. So starting off for the Lived Experience Steering Committee, again, those are House Bill 2163. The Homeless Services Advisory Board and Regional Housing Council approved recommendations for Interfaith Works to receive that contract for the Lived Experience Housing Steering Committee for $50,000. The Eviction Prevention Rent Assistance dollars, so state document recording fee. There were 3 applications that were approved and recommended. Family Support Center of South Sound was recommended to receive $439,902. Community Youth Services, $151,966. And Partners in Prevention Education, $533,080, to a total award of $1,124,948 for rent assistance. And finally, the Basic Needs Fund, through our Basic Needs Programming through the Human Services Fund. Thurston County Food Bank was recommended to receive $85,000. Thurston County Food Bank, and that's for the Food Bank Collaborative, so all of the actual food delivery. The other bank, which is Hygiene Services, for $12,000. Catholic Community Services for the Community Kitchen, which is located in the Salvation Army building downtown, $122,000. The Rochester Organization of Families for Emergency Needs, $15,000. Olympia Mutual Aid Partners for Smoke and Fire Mitigation Basic Needs Programming, that's $27,323. Olympia Mutual Aid Partners for their Nickerson New Hope site support, $8,000. Together, for basic needs programming, $32,000, and community youth services Haven House program, $16,000. The total of those funds recommended to be awarded are $333,323. The Lived Experience Housing Steering Committee contract will begin September 1st of 2023, as it is that is the fiscal year associated with the $2163. And the remaining contracts begin on July 1st of this year, 2023, and they end on June 30th of 2024. They're all a one-year contract with the anticipation that they will be renewed for a second year, depending on availability of fund and performance. The EPRA contracts, so those funds for rent assistance are contingent on our county's receipt of revenue meaning the document recording fees. So it depends on the general market of real estate, either purchasing or refinancing for the amount of revenue that we could receive. And I am happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Questions? Commissioner Edwards?
No questions, thank you.
Questions, Commissioner Menzer?
No.
No questions for me. Thank you, Keely. I'm ready for a motion, sir.
Move to approve housing contracts between the county and 9 nonprofit organizations to fund 12 projects for a combined total estimated amount of $1,508,271 for the 2023 program year. And authorize Director of Public Health and Social Services to sign the contracts and any amendments that do not change the approved dollar amount or duration by more than 10%.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Thank you. Okay, Public Works, item 7A is a resolution to amend the 6-year transportation improvement program for 2023 through 2028, and Matt Onselman, our county engineer, is here to present this item.
Good afternoon, Board of County Commissioners. Matt Huntsman, Thurston County Engineer. Public Works is requesting the Board of County Commissioners approve a resolution to amend the 2023-2028 Transportation Improvement Program, otherwise known as the TIP, to add the State Route 507 and Vale Road Roundabout project. A public hearing was held on May 23rd and no public comment was received. During the 2023 state legislative session, the legislature appropriated $21 million in Move Ahead Washington funding for the construction of 3 critical roundabouts along the State Route 507 corridor. Local agencies are responsible for the design and construction of these projects in partnership with the Washington State Department of Transportation. The State Route 507 and Vale Road Roundabout is in partnership with Thurston County. The Bald Hill Roundabout will be built utilizing the City of Yelm, and Pierce County will be responsible for delivering the project for the roundabout at State Route 507 and State Route 702. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
No questions. Plenty of discussion. Thank you, Matt.
Questions, Commissioner Menzer?
No.
No questions for me. I'm ready for a motion.
I move to approve the resolution to amend the 6-year transportation improvement program for the calendar years 2023 to 2028 to add State Route 507 and Vale Road Southeast Roundabout Project CP 61566.
Second.
This requires unanimous vote, right, County Manager? Okay.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
I'm
No,
just
ma'am.
waiting to see the vote.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer? Commissioner Mejia?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Okay, moving on to item 7B is contract award for analytical lab testing services contract, and Cheryl Towsley? Towsley, there we go. Gerald Towsley, Solid Waste Facility Operations Manager. I'm sorry, I've heard your name a million times and I still.
That's okay. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Public Works is asking for permission to award a contract for analytical laboratory testing services. I'd like to give you a quick background of it. Public Works Solid Waste Division operates and maintains the Hawks Prairie closed landfill located at the Waste and Recovery Center, which is capped and closed in April of 2000. The closed landfill is currently monitored and controlled by the county in accordance with regulatory post-closure reporting requirements for groundwater, leachate, landfill gas, and stormwater. The county is required to provide quarterly and annual groundwater reporting to the Department of Ecology. Public Works Water Resource Division operates 3 wastewater treatment facilities located at Boston Harbor, Grand Mountain, and Tamashan, and is required to conduct lab testing on wastewater influent and effluent in accordance with permitting requirements. In addition, the division operates 3 water utilities located at Boston Harbor, Grand Mountain, and Tamashan, and is required to conduct lab testing on groundwater in accordance with the Department of Health requirements. Public Works is responsible for the collection of samples and testing by an accredited analytical laboratory to confirm compliance with applicable regulatory requirements. Public Works is in need of these services on a reoccurring basis. On March 30th, 2023, a total of 2 proposals were received to provide required laboratory testing services. Bids were received in response to a request for proposal advertised on February 23rd, 2023. Public Works evaluated and scored the proposals based on the contractor's qualification, experience, past performance, references, and reasonable rates. AmTest of Kirkland submitted the highest rated proposal. The award to AmTest will allow continued laboratory testing services with rates guaranteed by the contract. Current testing expenditures for all facilities range between $90,000 to $105,000 annually. The term of the contract will be a maximum of 5 years, consisting of a 1-year base period and 4 one-year renewal options. The maximum ceiling amount will be $1 million with opportunities for increase in future option years if needed. All contract expenditures for landfill-related sampling will be funded through revenues from the solid waste facility tipping fees, and all contract expenditures for water and sewer utility testing will be funded through the utility rates. And now, if you have any questions.
Questions? Commissioner Edwards.
No questions, thank you.
Questions, Commissioner Menzer?
No.
No questions for me. I'm ready for a motion.
Move to award the contract for analytical laboratory testing to AmTest or AmTest Inc. of Kirkland, Washington in the amount of $1 million. And to authorize the Director of Public Works to execute the contract and amendments for up to a 10% contingency, $100,000 or a total of $1,100. Approve option extensions and approve subsequent work orders.
Second.
So moved and seconded. Any discussion? I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer? Aye. Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. Item 7C is the right-of-way vacation of the entire alley located in Block 4, Rights Addition to Rochester. Craig, go ahead.
Thank you, Commissioners. Craig Sisson, Real Estate Services Manager for Public Works. On April 11th, 2023, a public hearing was held on the vacation of the entire alley located in Block 4, Rights Addition to Rochester, Division Number 1. This unopened right-of-way lying adjacent to tax parcel numbers 854-104-02300, 854-104-00100, and 854-104-00800 was dedicated to Thurston County by the plat of Rights Addition to Rochester, recorded at Volume 8 of Plat at page 48 under Auditor's File Number 49605 on November 26, 1910. The hearing examiner considered the mandated criteria and determined that 1, the right-of-way was never opened nor used for public travel. 2, it is not necessary to maintain the full width of the right-of-way for public use as the adjacent properties have access from surrounding roads. 3, the public will benefit by this vacation as the county will be relieved of liability for the area. The county will receive compensation for the right-of-way based on the current appraised value, and the value of the petitioner's property will increase with the additional size. This recommendation was made subject to the following conditions. The applicant shall pay compensation as set forth in TC 1336030. This condition has been met. The county has received compensation in the amount of $20,140. This road vacation is in alignment with the county's strategic plan initiative 8 to support robust and well-maintained infrastructure systems for a thriving community.
Thank you, Craig.
Thank you.
Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
No questions, thank you.
Questions, Commissioner Munzer?
No, I went through this one a few times.
No questions for me. I'm ready for a motion.
I move to approve a resolution adopting the findings, conclusions, and recommendation of the hearing examiner to vacate the entire alley located in Block 4 in the plat of Rights Addition to Rochester as outlined in the hearing examiner's recommendation.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Munzer? Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. That will conclude our department items. We'll now review our standing items, starting with item 8A. Commissioners will report on board work sessions and assigned committee meetings, providing updates on actions taken as well as upcoming issues. And I also know that we do have a commissioner's check-in this Friday at 2. So, Commissioner Edwards, we'll start with you.
We did not have a meeting last week, so a little less activity. But we did meet with the Nisqually, or the Squaxin tribe, had a meeting with the EDC board, and the folks had a rodeo, and I think I attended most of those with my seatmates. But the main bulk of my activity had to do with traffic safety and lake management district activities during that period of time. That's it for my report, ma'am.
Thank you. Commissioner Munzer.
I was out of town last week, but the week prior, we had Salmon Recovery Council, some very interesting studies regarding that were done about the effectiveness of habitat restoration projects in various watersheds. A special meeting of the State Building Code Council regarding some litigation that is affecting the implementation of our building code changes. Yesterday was the first meeting in many years of the Urban Growth Area Management, I don't remember, UGM stands for something, has to deal with, it's a subcommittee of Thurston Regional Planning Council. It involves proposals to expand the urban growth area boundaries. I'll talk more about this at Commissioner check-in, but down and dirty is that the changes to the countywide planning policies that have been proposed based on state law changes that require tribal consultation have been sent to tribal leaders and planning directors for input. So no action was taken. Lacey has a proposal to include Cuyo Park into the UGA. It's Lacey owned land. And that was going to be a recommendation for support from the subcommittee. And Thurston County has 3 proposals in Grand Mound, none of which looked like they were going to be supported because of lack of data in the Thurston Regional Planning Council's buildable lands report, but because the county has an industrial land study coming, a comp plan review, which requires housing analysis by income bracket. I propose that we delay decision so we get more information, because that more detailed information might better inform the decision-making, and the group agreed with that. So things are on hold. with regard to our Grand Mound proposals until we have that additional data. And there was a third item that was asked for that our staff agreed to provide, which was some analysis of why the existing land within Grand Mound for housing or commercial is not being developed. Is there some reason or analysis to bear on that? So with those three items being received, we're hoping maybe toward the tail end of this year, we could then move forward with a recommendation to the Board of County Commissioners. And then last night was emergency management seminar, and that was about it. I'll say tomorrow is going to be a big event for the salmon recovery community. The Leadership Council for Puget Sound Partnership goes to different regions on a periodic basis. Tomorrow is our region's chance to present to and hear from the Puget Sound Partnership Leadership Council. That's happening at the Lot facility. The Alliance for Healthy South Sound, of which I'm on the executive committee, is kind of hosting that and presenting. I also volunteered Thurston County's public health to talk about our efforts in Nisqually on septic, which fit right in with one of the subtopics that they wanted to hear about. So I believe there's Thurston County environmental health staff presenting as well.
Okay, for me, yesterday I held a small town hall in the Boston Harbor area, and I'm going to be moving throughout my district and holding different town halls, but it was great to hear from the Boston Harbor area, and we talked about the utility consolidation as well as parks, and a whole variety of topics.
How many folks did you have?
I believe it was around 20 folks, so it was a good turnout. And we did it at Burfitt Park, and so it was really nice weather for it. I also attended the rodeo with Commissioner Edwards, and I participated, and I will say that I got ripped off out of my first place trophy, but I will not hold that against Public Works Director Jennifer Walker. But I did a speech in regards to mental health at ESD's 113 Spring Symposium. And so thank you so much for ESD as well as Timberland Regional Library for inviting me to provide just a review on mental health in Thurston County and how COVID has impacted some of our social services. And then I also attended the Experience Olympia and Beyond Pop Art, where tourism awards were given out. Other than that, I've been having several internal meetings with staff members in a variety of topics, as well as some external meetings, usually relating to public works issues or permitting issues. So, okay. With that, the county manager will review the Board of County Commissioners schedule for the week of June 6, 2023.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Let me walk you through your combined schedule where at least 2 commissioners will be present in those meetings. You may have an individual appointments on your individual calendars. Those will not be part of my report. You have nothing for the remainder of the day today. Wednesday, June 7th, tomorrow, 9 in the morning, you have a briefing related to the Lake Management District Administrative Rules. 1:30 in the afternoon, tomorrow, Wednesday, June 7th, you have a briefing related to the Tri-Lakes Groundwater Monitoring and Modeling Project. Followed by 2 in the afternoon, a briefing on the 2023 legislative session summary. And at 3:30 tomorrow, you have, I believe, Commissioner Edwards is going to the TCOM Administration Board meeting. I don't know why I have this in the master calendar. Is any other commissioner attending that meeting?
I don't think there is. I think it's just me.
Just you, okay, just in case. Thursday, June 8th, at 3:30 in the afternoon, you have the opportunity to begin the budget conversations where the staff will facilitate your budget priorities for the upcoming biennial budget. So please bring your ideas to begin that conversation. On Thursday, June 8th, at 5:30 in the afternoon, you have been invited to participate on the Men Who Care About Domestic Violence, and that is going to be located in the Olympia Yacht Club at 201 Simon Street Northwest in Olympia. Friday, June 9th, as Commissioner Mejia stated earlier, you have the Commissioner's Check-in at 2 in the afternoon. That was moved from Thursday, June 8th. Saturday, June 10th, you have been invited to participate at 4:30 in the afternoon to the Nisqually Land Trust 2023 Conservation Celebration and Auction. And that is going to be located in South Puget Sound Community College at the Lacey campus, 4220 6th Avenue, Southeast, Suite 1 in Lacey. Moving on to next week, Monday, June 12th, you have your standing meeting with the Washington State Association of Counties at noon, and at 2 in the afternoon, you have a briefing related to the class income study. Thursday, June 13th, you will convene back here in this room, 9:15 for your regular agenda setting. 2 in the afternoon, you will have your regular Board of County Commissioners, and you have a public hearing related to the 2023 Clements Open Space application. And at 4:30 in the afternoon, Tuesday, June 13th, you have your regular Board of Health meeting. And that's all I have for you.
That's it, County Manager?
That's it. I'm looking at Tuesday for next weekend. Okay.
Busy times.
With that, we've reached the end of our agenda for June 6, 2023. It's 3:14 p.m. Thank you all so much for coming. We are adjourned.